The Denver Nuggets are in one of the more unique situations in the NBA today. Due to their mixture of veterans as well as young players, there's their point guard Emmanuel Mudiay, who still needs more time to figure it out. There's Nikola Jokic, who is exciting a lot of people with his versatility as well as capabilities on the offensive side of the floor. But then there's veterans like I mentioned. One is Danilo Gallinari, who looks pretty damn goofy, but he knows how to put the ball in the basket. And there's also another wing in Wilson Chandler, who's actually having a bit of a career season this year, and someone who I think a contending team would love to trade for at the trade deadline. And I feel like this all kind of complicates Jamal Murray's situation with them, which I will jump into a little bit more. But if we can talk about Jamal Murray right now. In the month of November, he was fantastic for the Denver Nuggets, and he was getting his Steph Curry on with his ability to hit jumpers, including three-pointers, while off the dribble, in transition, pull-ups. And in the month of November, he put up 12 points per game while shooting 43% from three while attempting 5 a game. And he had himself about 6 or 7 games of double-digit scoring, including 3 straight 20-point performances. Murray has a lot of scoring potential as a rookie already, which tells me, well, he can be a big-time scorer in the NBA. And I think the key reason why he was so successful in the month of November is because they put the ball in his hands so much. It allowed guys like Nikola Jokic to play off of him rather than make Jokic the emphasis of the offense. And Murray was very good when they put the ball in his hand, and his usage rate in the month of November was 22.3, which, when we look at what it'll be for the month of December, where he had really a really down month, you'll see that there's a drastic difference. So when Murray was actually given the ball and allowed to work in transition and pick and rolls and creating his own shot, attacking the basket, while still getting his Steph Curry impersonation on, he was very good for the Denver Nuggets. But, like I've been foreshadowing, December and as well as January have been very ugly for Murray. As in December, he put up 6 points per game while shooting 25% from three and 35% from the field overall. So he just swan dived from one of the best rookies to, well, what the hell is this guy? And how did it happen? Well, I mentioned before, in November his usage rate was 22.3. In the month of December, his usage was 17.9. And that would signify that the ball was not in his hands as often. It should also be said that in December, he got to the free throw line only 0.6 times per game as opposed to 2 in November, and he also averaged less assists, which tells you right then and there, the Nuggets were not running as much actual offense through him. They were more playing him off ball and asking him to be more of like a Buddy Hield style shooter, who we did touch on yesterday, I think, if I can bother fact checking. So it seems that Murray is just meant to have the ball in his hands and to kind of control your offense a little bit more. But as we are going to touch on in a minute here, it's not very easy for the Nuggets to simply give a rookie the ball and allow him to go to work because of the things he has around him. But when you go from being a 40% three-point shooter as a rookie, creating your own shots and beating guys off the dribble and attacking the rim and hitting three-pointers that make no damn sense, and then you drop off significantly and your usage rate goes down with it, well, that says right there, the Nuggets need to give Jamal Murray the damn ball. But like I've also mentioned, Denver has quite a few things to figure out before they can really do that. For one, their point guard Emmanuel Mudiay is not a good shooter. He struggles to finish from pretty much everywhere on the floor, but given his physical traits as well as the flashes he shows at times, they do need to give him more time to see if he can be a real point guard. But unfortunately, you can't give Jamal Murray the ball and let him go to work and ask Mudiay to play off of him, because Mudiay, like I mentioned, is not a good outside shooter. So that creates complications right there, because Murray just can't have the ball in his hands as much. And then there's a bit of a pecking order with this Nuggets team as well. Of course, Nikola Jokic is their best player. and he's also someone who's a very good passer for them, so they do run more of their offense through him. And of course, Murray needs to get better off ball, but it seems like his natural ability is going to be with the ball in his hand, and I would love to see some Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic pick and rolls, but if Murray's not going to have the ball as much, good luck with that happening. Then we can also speak on Gary Harris, who plays the same position as Jamal Murray, who kind of reminds me of like Avery Bradley as someone who walks into the NBA as a defensive player and is slowly but surely improving his offensive game. He's a very good three-point shooter, and he seems like he can be a quality two-way option, which is awesome, but it creates more obstructions for Murray to really be able to do his thing. And then there's Wilson Chandler, who averages about 14 shot attempts per game, is also a veteran. I mean, I mentioned before how I'm sure a contender would love to trade for him. I think Wilson Chandler is the type of guy who you might have to go and look to acquire something for, because the Nuggets, their mixture of young players to veterans, it's going to mess up someone like Murray's development, because Wilson Chandler's like 29 years old. He's going to attempt his shots, and he should get his shots. But I think Murray has 20-point scoring potential, kind of similar to what Gallinari does, and he's another guy who's just going to steal shot attempts away from the young guys on this team. So when I say Jamal Murray needs to get more shot attempts, I'm also saying the Denver Nuggets as a whole need to figure out what the hell they're doing. They have veterans, they have young guys, and they're not a good team. So I would suggest you just embrace the young players on your team and try to move your veterans for actual pieces that can make you better down the line. Well, Jamal Murray needs an opportunity. There's also Will Barton, who comes off the bench like Murray. He's ready to shoot once he enters the game. I mean, he was like a 6th Man of the Year candidate last season. There's just too many damn guys in Murray's way to allow him to really go off. And it's too bad, because when you shoot 40% from 3 with creating your own shot, as well as shooting about 55% at the rim, and having consistent 20-point scoring nights as a rookie, and you average double digits and shoot 40% from 3 for a whole month, as what, like a 19 or 20-year-old? Murray can be a scoring machine. It's just, there's a lot standing in his way right now. And they're also asking him to sort of figure it out, if you will, amongst all these veterans and guys who like to shoot the ball, and Moutier who needs the ball in his hand. I'm not surprised that Murray has struggled so much. It's not a perfect situation for him, but I think he can be the big-time scorer the Nuggets are really looking for. They just have to figure out this roster.